The Atlanta Braves took down the Miami Marlins 8-6 in Game 1 behind Drake Baldwin's 2 home runs and 5 RBI. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on in to the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. That fellow over there is Jake Mastroianni, host of Locked On Braves. I blanked and didn't have some sort of superlative for him. That handsome fellow over there is Jake Mastroianni of Locked On Braves. Follow him on social media at shorts.ball. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Braves wherever you get your podcast. Jake's had a lot of great stuff recently, whether it was Jurickson Profar potentially scamming the Braves, thoughts on the Byron Buxton situation, all of that kind of stuff. But before we get to that, I want to talk about Atlanta's 8-6 win over the Miami Marlins. And I'm going to be honest, Jake, I had a moment in this game where I started to doubt just a little bit. Braves scored 2 runs in the first, back-to-back shots, off of Yuri Perez by Drake Baldwin and Marcell Ozuna. And then Cookie Carrasco gives up 5 runs in the second. You see why his nickname is Cookie. He hangs a slider middle, and it gets crushed. But Atlanta ends up scoring the final 6 runs of this game. We're going to get to the pitching in a minute. But on the offense, this felt like really good quality contact by everybody in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, you got the 2 home runs back to back, and that's how the Braves have been scoring a lot of their runs here lately. Just hasn't been enough of home runs, and when they've got them, they've been solo shots. But you still felt, pretty good at that point. But then the moment Cookie comes out and gives up 5 runs, you're thinking, okay, it's 2025, and that's the way things are going to go. And for the offense to come back like this, and as you mentioned, it's not just that they came back; it was really good at bats. There were a lot of professional ABs happening tonight. And so that's really good to see, because as we, in a lost season, the rest of the way, that's what we're looking at. That's what we're focusing on. I don't think we are so back there, John, but I mean, that's what you're looking for from a lot of these players, whether it be Profar, who I'm going to talk about in tomorrow's podcast, and where he fits and what type of offensive identity this team's going to be, whether it's going to be a Nacho, if he's going to be part of this. He comes in late in this game, is able to get on base, but just others too in this game just had some really good at-bats. Obviously Drake Baldwin, I know we'll talk a lot about him, but that's what you want to see from this team the rest of the way. It feels like the rest of this week leading up to this, just to be honest, it hasn't been a lot of fun to watch. And I know part of that is just because they're losing, and look, I know it's a lost season. It might benefit the Braves more to lose, but I still like to win, and I still want to see them play well. Even in a loss, I want to see them play well. And it feels like it's been uninspiring baseball. And so this was a good little bit of a jolt, because you punched and then you got sucker punched right back. And then the offense was able to recover from that. And the pitching did a good job too of not letting them, score too much after that, but mainly just the offense not laying down, because it feels like a lot of games this week, they've just kind of laid down. And so for them to not do that in this one and to fight back and win a game, I was, having a little bit pumped up, had me excited for Braves baseball for the first time in quite a bit.
Yeah. I'll be honest, last night, they felt like they were really kind of fighting back too. But a lot of that Milwaukee series was just, they kind of go quiet and they just kind of ran out the clock. It felt like, and this was something where, to your point on professional at-bats, Atlanta struck out 4 times. They also drew 4 walks. Like you've always talked about, I think it's 8 or 9 is kind of your magic number. You're looking for them to stay under.
Less than 8 or less.
Less than 8. And not only do they stay under that, they have the same number of walks as strikeouts, and it doesn't require some monumental effort like against the Royals where they walked 14 times. And it just felt like they were doing a really good job of running up pitch counts, right? So they were being willing to foul balls off and wait for their pitch. And then when they got their pitch, they crushed it. 28 hard hit balls in this game. 16 of them were Braves. Now,
yeah, and sorry to cut you off, but on that point to what you said, the bats from Wednesday against a really good pitcher in Freddie Peralta too, and we talked about that, or I guess I talked about it yesterday. I thought they were really good bats. I thought they did a good job battling Freddie Peralta and working up that pitch count. So you're right. Back-to-back games now, we kind of have seen those professional bats, and Yuri Perez, a really good pitcher too. And he had 6 swings and misses in this game. So, I mean, and he's got really, really good stuff. So you're right, including what happened on Wednesday, kind of back-to-back performances here from this offense where you've seen some really good at-bats.
Yeah. The question came up in the chat a few times here. I found one of them from Joe. Is Drake Baldwin this team's best pure hitter outside of Ronald Acuna Jr.? And again, he goes 3 for 5 tonight, 2 runs, both of those on his homers, 5 RBI total. And it's not that all his RBI came on the 2 homers. He had RBI outside of those 2 home runs. It's beginning to feel like, one, maybe he felt the pressure of Isaac Collins coming into his house and performing really well in the Brewers series. And you have another Rookie of the Year candidate in Agustin Ramirez in this one. But this is the second time in 17 days that he's had a 5 RBI game. And I'm having to look up what's the rookie record for RBI in a single game for the Braves. I mean, it feels like when he's on, he is probably our best hitter outside of Ronald Acuna Jr. And because Ronald's on the injured list, he might be the guy. I mean, where have they been putting him in the last month? They've been batting him 3rd. They've been batting him 4th. He's been right there in the heart of the order for a month now.
And he's a rookie. It's really impressive. I mean, I had some doubts about the pure hit ability for Drake. I felt like the power was going to be there for him going to the next level, but I had concerns about the hitting capability that he could hit for a high average. Yeah. And look, it's one season, and I'm sure the league's going to adjust to him, and he's going to have to make some adjustments back, but he's been really, really impressive. And so I guess it depends on what your definition of a pure hitter is, but I take that as just, batting average is really what I take it as somebody that can hit 280, which he's doing. I think depending on what you believe Austin Riley is, and I still have confidence that Austin Riley is going to be a 270, 280 hitter. But yeah, I'd say outside of that, I think Drake Baldwin is probably the other guy that when I look at up and down this lineup of who's there right now, I think outside of Acuna, I think Baldwin's your best bet of somebody in this lineup to hit 280 or higher.
Yeah, like if I need somebody to go and put a ball into play, get a base hit in the top of the 9th, and we need to get a runner, he's probably the guy that if I have a golden at bat and Ronald's not an option, I'm probably going with Drake Baldwin. I hate to bring up a banana ball thing with the golden at bat, but that's kind of that's what I'm going with. I'm going with Drake Baldwin to get that. I do want to give a shout out just because I think it's deserved. Jonathan Ornelas made his debut. Nacho was a little sore today from a slide yesterday. He goes 2 for 4, scores a run, ends up kicking over to shortstop after they pinch hit for pinch hit for Nick Allen. First time we've seen him in Atlanta. I don't hate it. I mean, the contact wasn't the greatest quality contact, but you know what? He hit it where they were. He got on twice. It's nice to know that you have multiple guys on your bench that can play multiple defensive positions, can give you good at-bats in a pinch. And it kind of feels like right now, Atlanta has a little bit of that bench depth, even with carrying a third catcher, that they just haven't really had in multiple seasons.
Yeah, and he looked athletic too. I obviously haven't been able to watch him a lot. I mean, you move him over to shortstop. I mean, you got to be somewhat athletic there. I was curious to see what they were going to do too, if they were going to give Nacho the look at shortstop, but they put Ornelas there. And I thought he looked, like an athletic type of ball player. So you're right. I think that creates some depth. I'm going to give a final shout out here too, and also plug again my upcoming podcast on Profar, because last 24 games, as I'm going to talk about on the podcast, 350 on base percentage. Doesn't get a hit tonight, but walks twice, scores twice, and kind of helps in that error. He created that error from the shortstop because he took that turn around third, and you saw the pitcher point, to tell the shortstop, hey, look at him. That threw the shortstop off and created that error. So I think he's been doing some pretty good things. I know we've talked about the defense and how dreadful it is, but especially since going to the top of the order, he's done a really good job of getting on base for this team.
Yeah. All right. In just a second, we'll talk about Carlos Carrasco, the rest of the pitching staff, how they did. And I do have a little bit of praise for Carrasco, believe it or not. We'll do that next, right here on the Braves Postcast. It's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sneaking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Because let's be honest, some days on the course or off it, you need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. And honestly, golf's all about good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the beverage cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use our promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to get 20% off your order. Now, this offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and can't be used with other promotions, and the code is not good on subscription orders. But whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavor 5-Hour Energy shots today. Okay, so a lot of the frustration and a lot of the hole Atlanta was in came from Carlos Carrasco in the 5th inning. He let the Marlins have a hit for a cycle in the inning. They got a single, a double, a triple, and a homer there. And the home run, you absolutely saw why his nickname is Cookie. I don't think Snit knew his nickname was Cookie, but why his nickname is Cookie, because the Graham Pauley home run, which Graham Pauley, local kid, by the way, was a full count middle sinker at 89 miles an hour. Like, I haven't played baseball in a while. I'm probably not getting that out, but we all know Jake's a fantastic athlete. He's absolutely going to crush that pitch if he gets one. But I will say this about Carlos Carrasco. Atlanta has 5 games in 4 days in this series, doubleheader on Saturday. The fact that he rebounded from that to make it into the 6th inning, I think is a huge deal and is one of the reasons why Atlanta went with a veteran, at least right now, over calling up some sort of prospect who they probably would have pulled in that 2nd inning.
Yeah, I mean, if that's Didier Fuentes, he's gone, right? Like, I mean, not to pick on Didier, but if that's J.R. Ritchie, if that's, anybody else, I mean.
Blake Burkhalter. Enough people have picked on Fuentes this year.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying that because we saw that with Fuentes. We saw that play out. But that's kind of the role of Fetty and Carrasco the rest of the way. There may be games like that where they get bombed, but if they can get you through 5 innings and throw their 90 to 100 pitches, that's kind of what they're there for. So you're right. Good on him and good on, the Braves for being able to do that. But that's kind of what he and Fetty are there to do right now, is just to eat up innings and save you from having to yank a young kid in the 2nd inning and then blow up your bullpen for a series. So as much as I want to see the young kids, and I think we still will at some point, I do understand the ability to go with a Fetty and a Carrasco for now, just to give you those innings.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, he had more whiffs than anybody else in this game. He had 8 whiffs on 44 swings. Still, it wasn't a good outing by any stretch, but I do want to give him credit for that. I do think that's something that could factor into the weekend when you look at how many games Atlanta has to play. Obviously, Hurston Waldrop's going to be one of the guys they call up for Saturday. Fetty gets the other start, but getting that link out of Carrasco, I think, was big. And then credit to the bullpen here. They cover 3 1/3. It's not a ton of innings to cover, right? But 1 total hit. It comes off of Pierce Johnson. He gets the win, by the way. He vultures the win there. They strike out 5, no strikeouts. This is the kind of bullpen that we expected to have early in the year. And I do think if the Braves have this kind of bullpen where Raisel Iglesias was a menace in that 9th inning. He was fantastic. 2 strikeouts, looked great. If this is the bullpen Atlanta has early, it feels like the team is probably in a little better place earlier in the year, and maybe they get more than 1 game above 500 because they were just electric tonight.
Yeah, they were really good. Dylan Lee looked nasty today. I know he's had a rough, month, but he was absolutely filthy tonight. That poor kid. He looked smaller than my 6-year-old up there, batting 9th for them, but he had no chance.
Nick Allen?
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
I love Nick Allen. I'm sorry. I love Nick Allen.
But hey, Dylan Lee looked really good. Again, it's been a rough little go for him. But yeah, it's been great. I mean, I still would push back and say that even in the first couple of months, you still got to score those runs to be able to have those chances.
I'm thinking of at least 5 games you blew from the pen, though.
For sure.
If you get those 5 back, maybe you're at +4, +5 over 500.
Yeah, and it's something to think about too, because you didn't trade Pierce Johnson. So you got to figure he's part of this team going forward. Dylan Lee's going to be. Who knows what happens with Rysell, but it's a good chance that at least Johnson and Lee are going to be part of this. Well, and Dodd, who we saw in this one too, are going to be part of the bullpen next year. And they looked really good tonight.
Hey, Jake, real quick, why is Dylan Dodd so successful as a reliever? What's he doing differently?
Well, they got him throwing this pitch that a lot of other players around Major League Baseball are starting to use. I can't remember the name of it.
It's Lindsay's cutter propaganda. We're still doing this. We're still on this, people. We're still on the cutter propaganda. Okay, so again, Braves win this one 8-6, game 1. Game 2 tomorrow, Edward Cabrera versus Bryce Elder. I can't think of much more of a contrast here between Edward Cabrera throwing 91-mile-an-hour changeups and Bryce Elder throwing 91-mile-an-hour fastballs. But if this offense that we saw tonight shows up tomorrow, you have to feel like Atlanta has an opportunity to go up 2-0 in this series. Yeah, another good pitcher, so another good test. I mean, that's 3 days in a row now. It'll be for the Braves facing some really good pitching, and hopefully they can keep up those types of at-bats. I mean, you don't expect them to put up another 6 spot like that. I mean, it certainly was possible, but you would at least love to see them continue to grind, to not swing and miss a ton, put the ball in play, draw their walks when they can, and just have good at-bats. I mean, again, that's one of the biggest things I'm watching the rest of the way. What's a lost season is the type of at-bats, because I want to see them continue to have those really, really good at-bats. Yeah, and hopefully we can get a good idea out of Bryce Elder. He stabilized the last time. That would go a long way towards helping the Braves this year. So again, Braves win this one 8-6. We'll be back tomorrow. That game's at 7:15. We'll be back afterwards to recap the entire action. In the meantime, do me a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music. I really need the words of affirmation right now, so a nice comment would be great on there. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live to break down a Braves game, when Locked On Sports Atlanta has more Falcons content, and when Jake drops this Jurickson Profar slam piece that he's been working on for quite a while now. He's been plugging all week. For Jake Mastroianni, I'm Lindsay Crosby. This has been the Braves Postcast.